talking about sewing PDF patterns or how you print them, specifically sending them to a print shop to have them printed. Before I get started, I hope everybody's still doing well. We're still in lockdown. It's, what is it? Going into the second week of May, and we're supposed to be on lockdown through the 15th. At least that's the latest. So yeah, hanging in. What I'm wearing is a combination of two patterns. It is the top part, I used the peasant dress, the Megan peasant dress, which is here. And for the skirt, I used View A, which is here, this New Look pattern 6096. And it's basically the same pattern, but I just like the skirt part of the New Look pattern. It's just the way the pattern pieces are, and the construction and the pattern pieces I like better for this, and also the instructions for this dress. I don't wear this dress out much. I wore it, or I made it last month, but I was wearing it around the house, and Tim said that every time he looked at me, it reminded him of a nurse. So I guess it won't be seeing the light of day. But anyways, I still like it. I was basically trying out this pattern anyway, and this fabric is just made out of a sheet, so it's just a wearable muslin anyway. But I'll stand up and show you. Can't see the bottom part, but it goes to it's right at my knees. So that's how it looks. Has a high waist, which I like. I just like this peasant style dress. So and that's how it looks. All right, let's get started. I do have a nice amount of independent patterns, and most independent patterns they come as PDF files because the companies are overseas. So I started printing PDF patterns kind of early on. When I first started sewing about 3 years ago, I was printing them at home, which they give you instructions, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You just print out the sheets, you cut off two sides of the sheet, and you lay them out and tape them together. So that's what I have been doing, and since I started. And recently I was hearing certain sewists talk about sending their PDF patterns or files to a Photoshop. And so, I mean, I didn't really look into it then. I was just like, print it out myself. I just figured but they didn't really go into like the shops or where they had it printed or any of that. So it wasn't until recently that I started looking into it further as far as printing out patterns, sending the PDF files to a Photoshop or a printing shop, whatever you want to call it. So about a month, actually a few weeks ago, I had a pattern that I had gotten. I actually had two patterns and that I got from Helen's Closet. One was the York Pinafore, and I was excited. I couldn't wait to print it out. So I printed it out on my printer here and cut off the edges and started laying it out. And how I typically do it is I lay out all of the pattern pieces on my sewing board, because it's just wider than my actual table that I use for cutting out fabric. But it's not like a cutting board. It's a sewing board. It's about 2 yards by 1 yard, so it's wider than my actual table. And so I just lay out everything and start taping them together. So that's what I was doing with the York Pinafore pattern that I had. So I sit it on the floor and taped it out, And while I was doing it, I decided to go ahead and tape together this other pattern that I had printed out probably a month or two ago. And I cut off the edges and it was just ready for me to tape it together. The York Pinafore pattern is probably 30 pages. The other pattern, which was the henna dress, was maybe 50, 60 pages, I'm not sure. And so I figured, since I was already working on taping it together, I would just go ahead and tape together the henna dress at the same time. I was so sore, and this is not the first time that I've been sore, but I just pushed through because I didn't really know any other way, basically, or I hadn't really looked into a different way. I was just like, I want it now, and that was basically all I knew. So that day or that night, after I was like so sore, I was like, let me look into some other options, or this Photoshop option to print my patterns, because this is not okay. So that's what I did. I did find a video of someone explaining how to send it to the Photoshop, and different Photoshops that actually offer sewists the service of printing patterns. So I just wanted to come on and walk you through how to actually send it to a printer shop and have it sent to you. So this was my first experience, and yeah, here we go. So in the video that I was watching, the YouTuber actually used pdfplotting.com, and if you look at your PDF files, there's now, I don't think they had this before, early on when I was doing my PDF files or printing PDF files. They only had the one option where you could print it at home. But now the companies actually have a separate file that they send you with all of your other downloads. And one of the files has A1 on it. And then sometimes it also has what does it say? It'll also say CopyShop right on there. So, and then you'll see the A1 on some files, or A0. So all of these are the 3 files that I'm going to walk you through printing. And you can also see, you'll need this information once you go into the website, how many pages it is. So this one is 2 pages. This one is 1, and this one is 2 pages also. So most of the files are probably 1 to 3 pages, I'll say. So you go into PDF plotting, and this page comes up, has the different printing options. Here's the one that we'll be using, that says A0. And then here's a description that it's for sewing and quilting printing. Here's some other information that they let you know about, the delays due to the COVID-19, the shipping options and whatnot. So basically all you want to do is come down to this option here. It gives you the price per page, and like I said, you have to put in the price, the number of pages. So the first one, I think it was 2 pages, right? Let's go back over here just to make sure. This first file, yep, 2 pages. So this is the Laura dress from Rebecca Page that I just got. So I want to send that off and have it printed. So it's 2 pages, number of copies. By the way, this is black and white. You can also get it printed in color if you want, but it's a little more, I think, with printing in color. 1 copy, And then you just choose the file. And you go down to the bottom. You can put any notes if you want. I didn't put any notes. And you can see the price is $2.78. So I'm gonna add that to my cart. I think there's a minimum of about $15. If your printing is not $15, they add a surcharge so that it comes up to $15. So what I would recommend is just printing or having like a group of things that you want to print at a time, and then sending it to having it printed so that you don't waste money with surcharges. So it's $2.78 plus shipping. If you go down to the bottom, and it gives you information of what you put in your cart. Scroll down to the bottom, it gives you the price, and here's the surcharge, and the total is $7.50. Oh, this just says $7.50. So I don't know if that's the new minimum or not, but we're gonna add some more. So we're gonna go back up here to continue shopping. And here's the option where if you want to select color printing, you can. And go back down here, add another one. I think that file was 1 page. Let me double check. Yep, this is the Tessuti apron, which was a free pattern that Tessuti just rolled out. So I had to jump on that because I love apron dress patterns. So it has the A0 and Photoshop, so it's 1 page. And select the file. And then go down to the bottom and add it to the cart. And now we're up to $4.17, so we have a little bit more to go. So maybe one more pattern we can add. And that one was 2 pages. This is the York pinafore. So I'm going to select that. And that's $2.78 also. Add that to the cart. And we're up to $6.95. So the surcharge is 55 cents. So I would add some more, but just to show you, like there is a minimum surcharge. So if I wanted to add some more, I could, and then that would just like go away, that surcharge, if you don't want to pay for a surcharge. And then you just click proceed to checkout. And you'll put in your billing information over here. And then this gives you your order and all the details. And then you put in your credit card information and then place your order. Most of the times I think it sends it out the next day or the same day that you place your order. I used this service for the first time about a couple weeks ago, and it took a little longer because of like everything that's going on. And then, but I'll show you what I got. So it came in this box. It's like a box like that. That's how the box looked. The box got damaged, so that's probably why it took longer. I think it might have just gotten lost or something, but it was a little damaged. And then you just get a whole bunch of big old papers like this. And this is rolled up in this. So I ordered for the first time maybe about 5 or 6 patterns, because I had some patterns sitting that I had gotten probably over the past year that I just I hadn't gotten around to printing because of the tedious task of putting the files together. So I was so excited to try this service. And unfortunately, because of my box was damaged and it was sitting outside maybe, I don't know how long, but anyways, apparently it wasn't raining at the time, but apparently it got some water damage and on all of my sheets, so the paper is pretty warped. So I was a little bummed about that, but it should work out once I cut this edge off and then maybe iron it. It should maybe be okay. So hopefully there's not too much information like on this edge of the pattern. So, but yeah, that was my first experience of using Photoshop. I'm so excited that I found this or figured out how to print out my files, my PDF sewing files. So I hope this helped, and once again, I hope everybody is staying safe. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed this video. All right, bye.